Hi, welcome back to The Scent Advocate. Today I was thinking, since we're still in the throes of summer, it's been so hot where we are, it would be great to get into some aquatics, particularly salty aquatics. There are a lot of water-like fragrances out there, but a lot of times they kind of feel the same to me. There's that Kalone kind of blue note that you see in so many aquatics that just really feels a little bit dated to me. I mean, a little of that goes a long way too. I feel like it's been done over and over again so many times, and I've been looking for something different. Those of you who've been following me know that I don't like run-of-the-mill fragrances, and it's no different when it comes to aquatics. So today, from a sample haul, again, I always stress that I think it's important to sample before you buy full bottles whenever possible. You want to do a blind buy, that's definitely, is up to you. Of course, it's your money, it's your experience. For myself, I have so much fun with samples, I wouldn't give it up for the world. It's usually a pretty low-cost endeavor into the fragrance, and I really enjoy experiencing it, both on my skin and before that, on the test strips. So today I have 5 fragrances, all not run-of-the-mill, all I think wonderful. Let's jump right in. Let's start out with Walk the Sea Eau de Parfum by Kerosene. This is a strong, woody, ambergris floral to me. I get a very strong floral with this. It feels as if it would wear, I can't say close to the skin, it doesn't. It is unisex, it's light, it's watery, it smells light blue, it's got all of that. It's probably the most aquatic of those I'm going to sample today. There's a faint smoke in the background that gives it depth. I'm interested to see how this dries down, so I'm definitely getting a little ambergris, maybe a little cedar, just a blonde wood to ground things, and a floral I can't quite place. Let's see what the notes are. Sea salt, white florals, cedar, ambergris, and musk. Yes, all of this makes perfect sense. This feels very spring-like. I don't feel as much of the salt. So you've heard me talk before about Selmarin by James Healy. That to me screams salty. This does not have that. It feels more blue. The white florals are really prominent. The ambergris is there, which I think, together with the sea salt creates an accord, an oceanic accord, and it's beautiful. This feels like it would probably be the easiest reach among all of those we're going to review today. Moving on to our next sample, Acqua di Sale by Perfumum. It is an eau de parfum. I am not really familiar with this house. I mean, I've done some research, but this is great. I really like this. When I was considering the James Healy Selmarin, I was also considering Acqua di Sale, and it was a hard choice. I went with the James Healy for the full bottle, but this is really beautiful. It's got a black pepper to start, which I think marries with what is either an ambergris or a sea, like an algae, kelpie type of green, sea, oceanic plant, and maybe a blonde wood in there. There's something slightly perfumey about this, as opposed to the Selmarin, which is a straight up water and salt and just ocean gorgeousness. And it's different from Selmarin, but it's more of an easy reach. It's not something that is in any way challenging to me. I find it slightly more challenging than Walk the Sea, but it's more typical of an oceanic aquatic. Let's see what the notes are. Salty skin, myrtle, cedarwood, and marine algae. Wow, okay. I think I was off on the ambergris. The marine algae is going to come across as pretty salty, and I think that might create an accord with the salty skin. Myrtle, to be honest with you, I would have a very hard time picking that out, so I am confident that's throwing me off a bit too. But as this dries down, it gets more and more sophisticated. It's really beautiful. It's almost got something of a light basil accord going on way in the background that makes it savory as opposed to sweet. When it comes to the cedar wood, sometimes it can go in a sweeter direction. Not this stuff. It's really lovely. Moving on to white whale. This one had me so intrigued. I was completely in love with the name. Human emotions on the high seas that, you know, struggle between humanity and nature and anger, and all of the metaphors I think are meant to be in some way personified in this fragrance. It's salty, it's wild, it's not animalic, but it is. It doesn't have an animalic funk, but I think there's a leathery note that makes it slightly animalic. It's blue, it's white, it's easy to wear, it's unisex, it's lovely. The first time I sampled this, I really was worried I didn't get a lot of projection from it, but for some reason, and I have absolutely no idea why, this fragrance, you're gonna think this is completely nuts. This is going to sound completely nuts, but the first application is very, very close to the skin. I get almost no projection. You apply again on top of that, and boom. This is, by the way, an eau de parfum. It's by Masque Milano. Really interesting stuff. The other interesting thing about this is it looks like the largest size available is a 35 ml. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong about that, but it's got almost a smoky, incensey feel to it, which is consistent with the solemn, stoic feel, the desperation of the novel. I love the correlation between this fragrance and the novel. Herman Melville, of course. I suppose one could say this leans masculine, but I would wear this. The more I smell it, the more I grow to love it. When you first try it, wait a few minutes, give it a second application, and that's it. You'll absolutely feel this. All right, let's see what the notes are. Olibanum, right? So that's frankincense. That's gonna be the incense, the smokiness. Rope, salt, black pepper, yes. Ambergris, osmanthus, violet, orris butter or orris concrete, cedarwood, patchouli, vetiver, and labdanum. This is really special stuff. It really is. I think you have to try it on your skin and do that second application. You'll be all set. I'm glad I stuck with it. Oh, this is lovely. Moving on to a doe in the snow, and this is an eau de parfum from 4160 Tuesdays or 4160 Tuesdays. This smells like fresh water, very crisp, cold, fresh water. A little bit of a wintry scent. This is subtle, and it is less of a simple choice. It is characterized as a chypre, and you know how much I love chypre, but it is really light. That is the only reason I've hesitated to buy a full bottle. Anything with oak moss absolutely captivates me, and this has oak moss. I know, I've checked the notes, and that one is a tough one for me to forget. There's a wood. Yeah, I'm getting wood, oak moss, a snow, almost a metallic, snowy kind of accord. Maybe a resin of some kind, but I can't put my finger on what. But it's only there to bolster that resinous accord. Let's see what the notes are. Grapefruit, cedarette, yuzu, peach, aldehyde, snow, cedarwood, rose, jasmine, oak, opopanax, oak moss, leather, and green tea. This is so light, though, that it's very hard for me to get all of that, and I've sprayed in layers. So like you heard me say with white whale, you give it a second layer and you are set. This one, I don't know. I love it, but it's very close to the skin. So what I keep doing with these is I keep trying them. You know, I try them on the test strip, I try them on my skin, and sometimes things change. Sometimes I'll get more projection. And you know, you can play around with things like oil on your skin, and that will tend to lead to a more magnified olfactory experience. There are lots of ways. I've seen a lot of content creators talk about that. I haven't really experimented with it too much, but I know it works with the oil, at least on me. So I'm going to keep trying this. I wish they would come out with an extrait because I would be all over it. And then finally, we have the Mariner's Rhyme. The Mariner's Rhyme is an extrait de parfum, and it is from one of my favorite perfumers and houses, Francesca Bianchi. This woman is a genius. Not only is her fragrance the epitome of art, but she strikes me in the interviews I've seen with her as utterly relatable. And as a woman, you know, she's the kind of person you listen to and you hear her story and you hear just the backgrounds on some of these fragrances and you say, oh my gosh, that's the kind of person I want to be, you know, and I'm possibly older than she is. But wow, what a fantastic person. I love listening to her. I love experiencing her fragrances. I love how she describes them, the stories behind them. I love the raw female humanity that goes from who she is into the fragrances she creates. Unashamed, completely personal and open. It's wearing your heart and your humanity right on your sleeve. I love it. I love everything about it. The Mariner's Rhyme, wow. It's a sheep, or it presents as a sheep, which is part of why I am in love with it. It's got a very strong, not sharp, it's soft around the edges. It's got a very feminine, a strong feminine accord to it. It is salty, it is aquatic, but it is all girl. And it is strong and beautiful and willful. And there's a flower in there, but I can't put my finger on what it is. Maybe orange blossoms, it's there and it's anchoring, but it's not in your face. I don't love florals, so this is just the perfect amount. It just kind of adds to the center of the fragrance. I know she's not really into the pyramid of top notes and heart notes and base notes, but it's there, it's in the middle, it's not screaming in your face. It adds depth to the fragrance. Do you ever hear music accompanying an oceanic scene in a movie and there's a violin playing, and it's always like a North Atlantic scene? It's as if the ocean has its own theme music. That's what you get from this. This is just stunning. It's got a wood in there, a blonde wood, some kind of flower in the middle, like I said. And up top, there's maybe a citrus of some kind, maybe a bergamot. There's a citrus, and there's salt. It's just stunning. Let's see what the notes are. Bergamot, grapefruit, ozonic notes, lavender, elemi, orange flower, yep, iris, ambergris, oak moss, musk, patchouli, and incense. Yeah, there's iris in there. You know, there's something where I said earlier that there's a softness. It's strong, but it's not edgy. There's a tempered softness to it. That is absolutely the iris. And I think Francesca Bianchi really uses iris to her advantage to take what are otherwise some really potentially strong, sharp notes and temper them and make them, I don't know, just human, soft like our skin, and it's amazing. Ozonic notes, yeah, I get it, absolutely. And that's a hard one for me to pick out. Lavender, yes, believe it or not, now that I see it, it makes sense. The oak moss is definitely there, but in a way that is expressed so completely differently from her other fragrances. I have several Francesca Bianchi fragrances, and some of them are serious beasts in the best possible way, right? They are not shy. And this is not shy either, but it is the rolling ocean. It is not a crashing wave. It's the femininity of the sea that is beautifully captured here. This is a stunner. It's very unusual. I've never smelled anything quite like it. Not a Kalon in sight. Okay, let's go back and see how these fragrances dried down. Let's start out with Walk the Sea. This is much more floral than it first presented. Really beautiful. Those white florals are really popping. I think the musk is coming out a little bit more. But this is definitely a floral aquatic. Next, Aqua di Sale. Oh, that marine algae, but it is not fishy, not at all. It is fresh and gorgeous and natural, unabashed. It is a slippery, green, gorgeous warmth right from the ocean. It is stunning. And the salt gets stronger. Really beautiful stuff and unusual. I would not consider this a dupe of Selmarin by James Healy. Gorgeous stuff. Moving on to White Well. This is gorgeous. I get a little more of the smoky incense coming from it. This was that Olibanum. Yeah, it's really popping at the front. It's got a warm, leathery, aquatic note. It's beautiful. Again, very unusual. You don't usually see aquatic leathers, and that's what this is at its heart, in my opinion. Next, we've got A Doe in the Snow. This is giving me a little more tree bark, darker wood with the snow. It's still very subtle, but it's drying down a little bit stronger. So maybe more of that oak, I think, is coming through, and the leather. I can sense the oak moss, but it's not strong. But I'm going to keep trying this. I'm intrigued by it. Please, 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 4160 Tuesdays, please come out with an extrait on this, please. And finally, The Mariners by Francesca Bianchi. You just want to exist in this. It's so exquisite. This is full bottle worthy. I will definitely be saving up for a full bottle of this. Some of the musk is coming out as it dries down, but that oak moss with the alamy, that kind of lemony accord, it just combines with the beautiful bergamot and grapefruit, but it's not overpowering. The lavender is settling down. The ambergris is there. It is one of those fragrances that is beautifully formulated and combined or well blended, and it's a stunner. So give these a try if you get a chance to sample them. Definitely do. I got all of mine from Lucky Scent. They, as usual, provide wonderful service. They come as quickly as you want. It's just, a matter of paying for an expedited shipping if you want. And ScentSplit is also wonderful. Great deals on the samples, and you can get expedited shipping. So let me know what you think. And please consider liking and subscribing and checking out these amazing salty aquatics for summertime. Thanks. Have a great rest of the day. Bye.